are equipped intellectually to interpret these decisions that have been made on our behalf, at least by the people that we have elected to make these decisions for us. My name is Sage Babalola. You're listening to The Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM. Before 7:40 a.m. what we do basically is trends in the papers. It is a part of the Morning Express, and we get our information primarily from the front pages of our dailies, which means our newspapers, the Punch, the Guardian, Vanguard, whichever one we have at our disposal. But for this morning, we'll be focusing on the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the Vanguard newspaper in no particular order. What we do is we pay attention to the stories that have been reported on the front pages. We expand these conversations, most of which are developing stories, and give you an opportunity to also form your own ideas on this story by means of feedback. We take your feedback when we get to the mainland focus segment of the program. But not to jump the gun, let's focus on the task at hand. Trends in the papers is happening right this very moment. My name is Sage Babalola. The program is, or the station rather, is Mainland 98.3 FM. And for dialogue, for conversations, for the expansion of the headlines, as promised to you earlier in the day, Fᴜᴜᴜ will be joining us via the phone to give life to these headlines. As you know, reading the headlines alone can be rather misleading. We try to correct that by digging deeper into the story, summarizing it for you so you get the full picture. Before we bring Fᴜᴜᴜ on board, I would like to make you aware that we have begun our Ramadan program. So our Muslim brothers and sisters that are currently fasting, please do well to join our Ramadan program at 4 a.m. It's a daily program, 4 a.m. every single day. We have our cleric who will be joining us at the station. We started today. There were a lot of people who are plugged into that program. And aside from just learning, right, there's also the opportunity for you to win gifts. So when you call in the morning, questions are posed to you. If you win, you'll be given a specific day to come to the studio to pick up your Ramadan package. It's just our way of giving back to all our Muslim brothers and sisters and to show solidarity and support with you as you go through this process of purification. So our brothers and sisters that are fasting, please join the Ramadan program at 4 a.m. Win prizes for yourself, learn and connect with other Muslim brothers and sisters. And also today is the birthday of our very own Lady Mo. We co-host the morning program together. Lady Mo has her birthday today and we're celebrating Lady Mo. Happy birthday to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us. It's been wonderful working with you so far. We look forward to more beautiful relationship, more great things that we will do as colleagues on Mainland 98.3 FM. So Lady Mo, we wish you a happy birthday. When you come into the studio, you better have your hands full because you have to share rice. And now, let me bring Fᴜᴜᴜ on board so that we can kickstart conversation this morning. How are you doing today, Fᴜᴜᴜ? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sage. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm tired. Fᴜᴜ, send prayers to my email. I sent it to you on WhatsApp privately, but you don't answer me now. I'm taking you to the IPU because
don't worry, you get. They will hear from me now. They will hear from you.
I'm hearing from you now, like this, because I do it in Quora. I say send prayers to my email. You don't answer me. So now I'm.
Don't worry, you get it. But it will be to your email. Don't let us behave like them.
I want it in my email. It's not you that will tell me I will collect my prayers.
We can't behave like them. There are better ways of doing it. Yeah?
How are you doing, though? I hope you
and happy birthday to Lady Mo.
Yes, happy birthday to Lady Mo.
Yeah.
Lady
Mo,
a lot
of March children. Have you noticed the number of birthdays in the month of March?
Not necessarily. You're not born in March, are you?
You think so?
You're not born.
You don't know.
No, there's not a lot of people that are born in March, really. At least not here.
No. I know a lot of people celebrate birthdays in March. I don't know. And big people, actually. Prominent people.
Well, being born in March this year is a good thing. At least you don't have to host the party because everybody's fasting. There's Lent for Christians. There's Ramadan for Muslims. So there's no need to host a party. They can just wish you happy birthday on their WhatsApp status and everybody can keep it moving. There's no expectations of food or goodies or anything like that. So I guess there's...
Today is the 13th day of March, right?
Yes.
March 13th.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So happy birthday to Lady Mo. Wish her all the best in life.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Lady Mo. And also don't forget the Ramadan program at 4 a.m. Do well to join. Win yourself fantastic prizes throughout the month of March at 4 a.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM. Back to the discuss trends in the papers. We're going to start our conversation with the Punch newspaper. I believe we're streaming this morning, so please check our live stream at Mainland 98.3 FM, Facebook and YouTube. You can join the live stream. Radio Garden should already be up and running as well. I did check this morning. It should be up and running. So please check Radio Garden. You can listen via the websites www.mainlandfm.com, Facebook, YouTube, Radio Garden. These platforms are available for you to stream the program live. Now, Punch newspaper, we have the story here. Lagos Calabar Highway project wasteful, corrupt, says Obasanjo. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has described the 15.6 trillion naira Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway project as wasteful and corrupt. He equally slammed the President Bola Tinubu administration for spending 21 billion naira on a new official residence for Vice President Kashim Shettima, calling it a misplaced priority and a conduit designed to embezzle public fund. The ex-leader disclosed this in Chapter 6 of his new book, Nigeria, Past and Future, where he painted the portrait and characters of chief executives at both the federal and state level. He also spoke about chief executives who are complicit in the corruption that goes on between government. He says some of the governors, for example, had failing businesses, but the minute they got to that position, they were able to pay their debts very, very quickly, right? He also raised, conversations about the disbursement of funds for irrelevant things. In some of the words he even used to describe these individuals, I don't even believe they're radio friendly. But aside from calling out the corruption that goes on within the system, for example, the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway and the amount of money that is budgeted for that particular project, he thinks is corrupt. He's also talking about CEOs, chief executive within government, and how they are complicit in how these funds move around during the corruption process. Then he talks about democracy and how we practice democracy. He says that the West, from whom we copied liberal democracy, for example, are having a hard time. And I think what's going on in the US is proof that democracy sometimes can be a challenge. And so he once again is calling for a democracy that is peculiar to us as Africans. He calls it rather Afro-democracy. Is a form of democracy that takes into consideration our behavior, our culture, our interpretation of leadership, amongst other things. So this is a summary of the whole conversation that the former president has put forward. Fuad, would you like to analyze these issues one after the other?
Okay, Sage. Again, former President Olusegun Obasanjo is not a man that will be tired of talking. And I think he probably will be the former president that has written the most books. So I almost lost count of the number of books he has written. Now, to celebrate his 88th birthday, he has written 2 books. And in one of them, he had actually said a whole lot about the systemic corruption we have in our system. The systemic corruption in government, and the fact that, look, we still have corruption as one of the major challenges deviling the country. Sage, it's a very simple thing. This morning, we'll probably just have to work with the messenger. Sorry, we'll work with the message and leave the messenger. Because I'm sure that what you'll be hearing now is, when he was in government, there were also this and that happened. One of the ones that will quickly come into the minds of those that will want to shut him up was the failed electrification project, the power sector. I think $60 billion, dollars, as it were, was said to have been spent, trying to fix our challenges in the power sector, and there's nothing to show for it. That's still one question the former president has not been able to answer. But so that we don't, bother ourselves too much with what happened during the Obasanjo era again, so that we are not even encouraging this doctrine of, what about, when he was there too, what did he do? Let's just focus on the message. Because I understand that there are also problems with the messenger. Because a lot of the things he has said existed too while he was the president. In fact, some of them, led us into what we have now. But you can't fault what he has said. Again, working with the message. The Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, we discussed this severally here. That look, the fact that the procurement process was completely faulty, there was no competitive bidding. the back and forth that you had from the Minister of Works. At one point, it was going to be a PPP team. Later, it changed from a PPP team. It was going to be counterpart funding, all manner of things. So the design of the road, the fact that there was even no environmental impact analysis document as at the point the road was going to start. And the issues of vested interest. The company that eventually got the project linked to the Shagori group, who are business, friends of the president. The fact that, in several reports, you also hear that even the son of the president has stake in that particular company speaks volumes and speaks a whole lot to the fact that, look, that entire project has a lot of questions around probity, accountability, and transparency. So you can see that in the book, the former president has tried to highlight that one. And he also talked about renovating the house of the vice president with 21 billion. That those were just opportunities to steal public funds. That's again from the former president. And there's no way you are going to be able to false all that. We also highlighted some of these things. Not even at a time when this government is telling the whole of the country that there's no money, tighten your belt. So these reckless spending, this fraudulent spending, this misappropriation of funds, and what you can call disappropriation of funds, have all been spoken about on this show and several other platforms too. So there's nothing new in what the former president has said, really. Some of these things we've highlighted. The only thing is that, look, we say what we want to say. People in government don't give a damn about what we say. They still do what they want to do because they know there are no consequences, really. In a democracy, the reason why elected officials pay attention to what people say and complain about is that they know that at the end of the day, they will still have to go back to the people to demand for their vote. So in a situation where the electoral process is proper and free from fraud and manipulation, electorates would always listen to their constituents, always listen to the people. But in Nigeria, the fraudulent electoral process does not give any powers to the people again. What it has done is to give power to a few powerful Nigerians who have enough money, who have enough connection, who can manipulate institutions to retain themselves in power. And so the former president has said what he has said, again just re-emphasizing and putting before what a lot of Nigerians have always been saying, and I've always said about corruption in the country. But would it change anything? Would they listen? I'm sure that somebody is going to react very, very soon from the presidency. And you will see that it will come with insults. The issue should not be addressed. And even when it's addressed, it will be addressed like, look, we've done what we need to do, and there's nothing that can stop it. And I think that is also the mood, the reaction to what a lot of Nigerians have said about some of these things. So if you read the story completely, you understand that, look, the former president basically was just highlighting the fact that, look, corruption is still the biggest challenge that faces us as a people. And that we are not doing enough really to tackle this monster called corruption.
Well, before we move on to this next story, Fᴜᴜ, you thought you could whine me. So a little birdie told me that tomorrow is your birthday. Wow.
Who told you?
It doesn't matter. I heard through the grapevine. I heard, so you think that you can whine me, Fᴜᴜ, on radio. Wow. Now that we know, don't just come to the office. That's what I'm just saying. Don't come to the office.
No, we are fasting.
Don't come to the office, Fᴜᴜ, because the same way they lock somebody out of somewhere, that's the way we will lock you out of this building. So
we are fasting.
It doesn't matter.
We're in the only month of Ramadan, so
don't come to the office. Let's move on now to other stories. The Punch newspaper still tells us Tinubu overrules Akonde panel, backs Obasa to remain Lagos speaker. The story tells us President Bola Tinubu has resolved the leadership crisis in Lagos State House of Assembly, backing the return of Mudashiru Obasa as speaker, despite an earlier recommendation for his resignation. The resolution came after a meeting between President Tinubu and all 40 lawmakers at the presidential villa in Abuja on Wednesday. The president's decision contradicts the recommendation of a panel that he had set up to mediate the crisis. The panel, led by former Osun State Governor Chief Bisi Akande and former Ogun State Governor Chief Benga Daniel, along with the leadership of the Governance Advisory Council (GAC), who advised that Obasa should step down after being reinstated. But the Punch reports that the panel initially recommended that Mujisala Miranda resign as speaker to allow for Obasa's return, with the understanding that he would also resign shortly after, making way for a new speaker from Lagos West interest to balance the state's political structure. So, for our side, as you know, with the crisis, when the crisis at the Lagos Assembly had happened, there were a lot of insinuation that there was the interference of the executive, and Mudashiru Obasa had some sort of executive backing with the way he handled the issue. I mean, he had the case reported in court, but he did not wait for a court pronouncement before he stormed the assembly with the security details of Miranda pulled, amongst other things. But we ultimately saw him reinstated. Now, a panel had been set up to resolve that issue earlier. Like the report said, it constituted former Osun State Governor Chief Bisi Akande, amongst others. And their recommendation, as the panel set up to handle the crisis, was for Mojisola Miranda to resign as speaker, allow for Mudashiru Obasa to be reinstated, and then give him an opportunity to resign properly so that a new person would be made to assume the position of Lagos speaker. But now a report tells us that the president held a meeting with the 40 lawmakers, asking them to work with Mudashiru Obasa, indicating that the recommendation of the panel for his resignation is now null and void. We might see Mudashiru Obasa remain the speaker of the House based on the decision that have been made by the president. The report tells us that an individual who spoke and requested anonymity says, well, some of the lawmakers still have reservations about the decision of the president to keep him there, but they've all agreed, all 40 of them, that they would work with him as he continues his duty as Speaker of the House. What are your thoughts, Fuad?
Very simple. See, the man that owes peace, the man with the final say, or probably the ultimate say, has now spoken officially. You know, it's just been grapevine, but the president said this, or Obasa wanted to see the presidency. The president sent the Akande panel to Lagos. And what we've seen is that, look, everything still stops at the desk of the president. He's still the alpha and omega when it comes to Lagos politics. What he wants stands, irrespective of what the other people want. Because again, when we talk about the independence of institutions or the different arms of government, the question we should ask ourselves now is how independent is the Lagos State House of Assembly? And you can see that at the end of the day, what has happened with Lagos again has shown that, look, we just have people in government. They don't have power. The power still belongs to people who put them in government. If you understand, so they decide for them. It dictates to them. You know, they are not independent. So no matter how they feel or they are thinking about an issue, it's just a complete waste of time if it does not align with the interest of the people controlling them or the person controlling them. On this Lagos matter, I'll tell you what comes to mind, because there are still a lot of questions as to how the whole thing happened, what has played out eventually. Sage.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what my mind tells me, my analysis of the whole issue. I might be wrong, but this is what comes to mind if you look at how the whole thing played out. My mind tells me that initially the president agreed to removal of Obasa. You know, he had visited Lagos. The GAC leaders had met with him. From the reports we got, they complained about the unruly behavior and the authoritarian behavior of the speaker. How he has continued to disrespect party leaders, how he has now started to somehow divide the party, coming up again with the mandate group, how he doesn't reckon with the governor and all of that. So my mind tells me that, look, at that point, the president gave the green light for him to be removed for the way he has been behaving since he has been reported by the party leaders. And so that removal could not have happened without the initial approval of the president. And you could see that, look, when he was removed, the GAC leaders, the governor of the state, all received the lawmakers, the 35 or 36 of them, you know, which also means that, look, the political approval has been done at that point. But what I think what happened was that, look, Obasa now decided to fight back. You know, there were reports of him making attempts when he got to Abuja to see the president. He couldn't see the president. But what happened was that he now saw somebody. He got access to somebody. He reached out to one individual or individuals who can also now influence the president. Are you following me, see?
Yes.
Because what has happened is that, look, he must have eventually gotten across to someone, one individual, or maybe individuals. But my mind tells me it's just one person. And you can begin to guess who the person could be, who now can influence the president. Because no matter how powerful you are, there must be that one person that can also make you change your mind, that can also influence your decision and your thinking about that issue. And I think that was where Obasa eventually got it right, for him to have this political return as speaker. And so all of the back and forth of the Wakonde panel, the DAC division, he was good. They now brought in the idea of balancing the political structure of Lagos State, and you can't have the governor from Lagos Central, and then the speaker from Lagos. All of those ones, I tell you, anytime politicians throw that into the conversation, it's just for convenience, for them to only buttress their agenda and give some strength to it. The reality is that Obasa eventually must have gotten across to someone who saved him from this political embarrassment, quote and unquote. And that person must have been somebody influential enough to make the president change his mind. The person, I will not tell you, say, you can continue to have your guess. Again, these are just my own permutations, and I think I have a right to begin to think along that line. So the rest is history. The summary of what we have is that, look, these guys are just in government. The power does not really belong to them. So, again, it's going to also go into our history books. Yes, it will be in our history book that at some point in this country, we had a situation where majority members of a state house of assembly, the state of excellence called Lagos, decided to remove their speaker. And then some other powers came and overruled everything and returned the speaker. And it's just what it is. Again, so long we continue to promote political impunity, so long we continue to promote individuals and continue to render institutions useless, this is what you continue to get. So, again, we've also made history. To go into the history books, we'll tell our children, how the leaders of today have been running our democracy and how they run our democracy, the way we have also talked about others in the past. So the legacy is there. The story is for us to tell. Lagos will not fail. It's just a matter of time.
Indeed. Well, that is the resolution. And like I said, the report says most of the lawmakers are not necessarily happy about it, but the president has spoken and they have to get on board. So Mudashiru Obasa continues as Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly.
And I think they said in that meeting.
Yeah.
They said in that meeting they sang the song of the president. Wow. After I spoke to them, on your mandate we shall stand. So they are still holding on to the mandate of the president. That was why when they were crying, I was asking 𝐴ᴏᴜ. These are people who have decided to hold on to the mandate. So if the mandates are shown them shaggy, they should just take it in good faith. Why are they crying?
It's on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to other stories now. Let's go to PDP crisis. Let's talk about the political party. PDP crisis, Wike camp kicks as Ikimi panel recommends Anyanwu's expulsion. As the crisis within the People's Democratic Party intensifies, the National Disciplinary Committee headed by former Minister of Foreign Affairs Tom Ikimi has recommended the expulsion of former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike's loyalist Senator Samuel Anyanwu from the party, and a letter signed by Ikimi on the 10th of March and received by the office of the PDP acting national chairman Umar Damagum on 11th of March, which was exclusively obtained by the Punch. The NDC revealed that despite being given the opportunity, Anyanwu failed to deny or defend himself against the petition filed by the Young Generation Caucus. The Ikimi committee stated that having listened to the petitioners and the evidence led, including the oral testimonies of Honorable Afolabi Adekanbi and Dr. Alex Adam, we find that the respondent, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, was engaged in anti-party activities contrary to the provisions of Article 58, subsection 1, F of the PDP Constitution 2017 and conduct likely to disrupt the peaceful, lawful and efficient conduct of business of the party, contrary to Article 58, subsection 1H of the PDP Constitution 2017 by inviting security agents and other persons and thugs to interfere in the ordinary business of the party at the headquarters of the party at Wadata Plaza, plot 9070, Michael Okpara Street, particularly on the 29th January and the 1st February 2025. the crisis within the PDP is we're no stranger to that particular news. And the person who unfortunately is now in the eye of the storm is Senator Samuel Anyanwu, who of course is loyal to Nyesom Wike. He was accused of anti-party activities and disrupting the peace of the party. Now, the NDC have done a review, and they're saying based on testimony and evidences provided, he is actually guilty following the petition that was written against him for participating or exacerbating anti-party activities that has deepened the crisis within the party, and now they are calling for his expulsion. Of course, Nyesom Wike, seen as they have a tight relationship, is against this particular recommendation of expulsion. I believe that, Fuad, we can take this story together since we're talking about Nyesom Wike. Aside from the PDP crisis, there's also the conversation around Nyesom Wike and what's going on with Siminala Ifubara in Rivers State, as well as, he did attempt to physically attend a meeting with the 27 lawmakers to represent the budget, but he was locked out. And Nyesom Wike held something of a media parley yesterday. He had a lot of things to say. He said the letter that Siminala Ifubara had written, the one that was signed by the SSG, was extremely useless, and he cannot just show up. He said you can't just show up to the house and expect them to attend to you. They're not children. They need to be respected. With regards to the impeachment, he says that, well, nobody has a monopoly of violence, because the Ijaw youth keep threatening violence and the bombing of the pipelines. But he says violence is not just peculiar to one group. Any group in Rivers State can be violent in nature, and so that is not something that should scare people at all. That if Siminala Ifubara is impeached, the heavens will not fall, because he's not the first governor that will be threatened with impeachment, or the first governor that would ever be impeached. Now, these are parts of the conversations that we had yesterday. So first, talk about the expulsion, or the recommendation for expulsion of Samuel Anyanwu, who's local to Nyesom Wike. What does this mean for the PDP? And then we can talk about what's going on with River State and statements that have been attributed to Nyesom Wike.
We'll wait to see whether the PDP will be able to implement this recommendation of the National Disciplinary Committee, led by Chief Committee. Is made the recommendation that Senators Anyanwu should be expelled from the party for promoting anti-party activity. But why they are making this recommendation? There's a case at the Supreme Court between Senator Samuel Anyanwu and Ude Okoye on who is supposed to be the secretary of the party.
Yeah.
So one was expecting that, look, the Supreme Court would have the final say on that. But here you have the National Disciplinary Committee of the PDP recommending his expulsion from the party as a result of its anti-party activity. Of course, as expected, the Nyesom Wike faction of the party has dismissed that recommendation and has said that, look, some of them have said it was prejudice of the court, because again they would have waited for the court to decide who was the legally recognized secretary of the party. So, but my mind tells me that, look, it will be extremely difficult for the party to implement this recommendation, because it's a divided party, really. And so long as Nyesom Wike is still in control of a faction of that party, you're going to have recommendations like this that will just remain as mere recommendations without the party not knowing how to really implement those recommendations. But if it's about anti-party activity, if it's really about expelling someone for anti-party activity, the number one person that should be expelled now from the party is Nyesom Wike himself. If we are really going to be talking about anti-party activities and those that are deserving of immediate expulsion from the PDP, the number one on the list should be Nyesom Wike. I know I've always questioned the potency, how powerful these committees are. You have two committees. There's one that is supposed to be for reconciliation, led by the former governor of Osun State, Tᴜɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. This one is for disciplinary actions against any members of the party, led by Tᴜɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. And I've seen that these two committees have appeared to just be toothless bulldogs. They've not really been able to do anything. Reconciliation, the Tᴜɪᴛᴛᴇʀ faction has not been able to do. No real reconciliation has been achieved in that party. Disciplinary actions, members just see them as jokers. They don't take them serious. I'm sure in the minds of Senator Anyanwu, these ones are just joking. Who will come and expel me? He's probably going to even go and challenge his expulsion in court if the party decides to do it. So again, it's still a party in disarray, a party in complete confusion. And like I've always said, the solution to the problem of the PDP is simple. it is about Wike and what it currently stands for as far as the interest of the party is concerned. Again, it appears to be the spoiler that the APC is using to continue to destroy the PDP, and he's doing the job effectively. And I think the patronage is for him to also have federal government backing to continue to hold on to Rivers State. It's a very simple calculation. Because for every...
Oh, hello. Fuad. Okay, maybe I'll just try to reconnect with Fuad side. We apologize for the interruption. All right, it still trends in the papers on Milan 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. We're reviewing the front stories, or the stories that are on the front pages of our dailies. We're looking specifically at the Punch newspaper at this time, reviewing what's going on within the PDP and also the influence that Nyesom Wike has when it comes to the operations and the dealings of the People's Democratic Party. Fuad side joins us via the phone. Also, let me reiterate that we are now back on Facebook, we're back on YouTube, we're back on Radio Guardian, and our website is functional. So please do well to join us via the live stream. We are going to be giving airtime to 2 people on our Facebook stream. So do well to join the live stream, do well to comment, and we'll pick 2 persons at random and send them airtime, just to appreciate all of you for your dedication, and also so to appease you for what has gone on Facebook and your inability to interact with us via Facebook. I believe we have Fuad side back online now. Hello, Fuad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes, please complete your thoughts.
So like I was saying, the disciplinary committee, the first person on the list should be Nyesom Wike. Again, he's doing a very good job for the ruling party. Continue to destabilize the PDP. Continue to, make them dysfunctional. Cause crisis, I remember when Wabara, the BOT chairman, also took his decision recently. The next moment in the state, people were already calling for his expulsion. So you understand that, look, this guy understands what he's doing, he understands the game, he understands the memo, you understand? So, and he's doing it perfectly for the ruling party. So, again, the patronage is simple. Continue to, weaken the PDP, you get all the necessary federal backing, federal might and backing to continue to also hold on to the political structure and powers in Rivers State. Because whatever Wike is doing today, forget all the noise, all the boasting, all the bragging, the tongue testing and all of that. Without the federal might, he is nothing politically. So don't be deceived about all the noise. If you like, let him have 100 media chat in a day. He's just wasting his time. The reality is that whatever power he has today, whatever political influence he has today, is because he's still in the good books of the president. He knows it. He can insult all the political leaders in Rivers State. Call anybody anything today. Nobody matters to him again in Rivers State. But whatever political power, I repeat it again, that Nyesom Wike possesses today is because he's still in the good books of the president. Now, on the issue of Rivers State, it's really a matter of time. See, I listened to him yesterday, his media chat, a whole lot of things he said, how boastful he was. He sounded like the emperor. I have to praise the resilience and patience of our colleagues who go through that torturous process of listening to him. Because he's a man that when you ask questions, the things he says to you, you don't even know how to give a follow-up question. He sounds so dictatorial in things he say. I'm sure a lot of the people who sit with him as journalists don't even believe in what he's saying. I'm sure sometimes they feel irritated about half of the things he says. But what can they do? They are there. And they have to tolerate him. So again, it's just a matter of time. Oh, if Fubara is in peace, heavens will not fall. Nothing will happen. Yes, nothing will happen. At least if Fubara is in peace, maybe we'll have some rest, some peace. And it will save us the pain and stress of having to watch him every time come on TV, to boast about political shenanigans, all these political shenanigans that we are seeing today in Rivers State. It will save us that stress because it's stressful. Listening to him, I'm sorry, it's extremely stressful. If you understand how democracy should function, really. So if Fubara is in peace, the heavens will not fall. It will not be the first, and it will not even be the last. So what would happen is to also go into our history books, Abi, and we'll also write it down that, at some point in the history of this our democracy, there was a man that pocketed the entire state, who was bigger than the whole state, who had came to buy phones for everybody, who installed the governor, chose commissioners for him, chose assembly members for him, and then had 27 stooges who were doing his bidding, who had no idea of their own. And then he had the backing of the powerful people in the center, and they did all. So history will be written. Luckily, we are writers. Apart from the fact that we can speak, we also can write and can document things. So it will be good to also document this in their name, as it will serve as their legacy. But you know what, when I keep talking about the factor of time, look, in this same country, like you said, the heavens will not fall. We've seen worse things in this our democracy, and the heavens did not fall. So if we keep saying that, look, if Fubara is impeached today, the heavens will not fall, it's completely correct. The heavens will not fall. In this same country, I'm not seeing a whole governor that was kidnapped, abducted. Did the heavens fall? See, in the history of this our democracy, a sitting governor was abducted. Did the heavens fall? But it became history. Look, for people who are listening to us today, there was a time. Say, let's go into history. So that at least to help Wiki buttress the fact that, look, the heavens will not fall for Fubara is removed. There was a time three brothers were controlling a whole state, held a whole state down. I'm sure people know the state I'm talking about Anambra State, where you had the Uba brothers, Ugochukwu, Chris, and Andy Uba, three of them, enabled by power at the center, were holding the state down. They held the state down. They held it by the jugular. Kidnapped governor. Between themselves, were fighting, tossing the political landscape of Anambra around. Where are those brothers today? Where are they today? When they talk about politics of Anambra State, where are they now? It's a matter of time. Maybe there was a time Babadi Dibu was also holding the entire Oyo State down. We can never forget the Amala politics. Am I not supposed to collect out of the security vote? Where he was even boasting that, look, they are the ones destroying things in Oyo State and nobody can stop them. Where is Babadi Dibu and the simple state when we talk about your politics? So it's a matter of time. The most powerful man today, who thinks he is the owner of River State, he has pocketed everybody and everything, to continue. This is being enabled. And for those that are supporting him, it's not a matter of time. I mean, it's a matter of time. Like I said on Midweek Politics yesterday, Fubara knows what he's already dealing with. I'm sure that, look, he already has a plan for the post-Supreme Court judgment. We don't know it yet. But I'm sure that he has people who are already talking to him, who are also guiding it. It's all about political survival now. And like the analogy I gave yesterday, it's always about two decisions. You see, now you decide not to dine with the devil at all. Or you decide to dine with the devil and go there with a long spoon. So Fubara, I'm sure, already knows what he's in for. This Supreme Court judgment has to be implemented because we run constitutional democracy. But the reality is that, look, it's going to be fight to finish. We're not talking about chaos and violence now. But whatever happens again, it's just a matter of time. It will go into our history book and we'll have a lot of things to say going forward. So let Fubara be impeached today. In fact, who is even stopping them from impeaching him? Is anybody stopping them from impeaching him? Why is he boasting? He's stopping our ears about you impeach or no impeach. He should impeach him and let us have some rest, I beg.
Well, Fuad, he keeps insisting that, he played a role in the emergence of Fubara, and so he's surprised that this is happening.
Did people play a role in his own emergence as governor?
He said initially they wanted the governor to come from Ogoni, but they just thought, let's give the Ijaw people a chance, and that's why he was chosen to run as governor. And so it's shocking that, this will be playing out, or this is how Siminalayi Fubara would be acting after getting the full support, of the party, of himself, actually, knowing that he was not even the one that was the initial thought.
The man that is complaining today, what did he do to people that also helped him to become governor? Because people will talk about Wiki as if he came from the moon, as if we are not alive, when he too was frustrating for people to become governor. The same orderly that he can no longer listen to. Did he not want to play a role in his emergence as governor? The Jonathan family, Mama Patience, Jonathan, didn't she play a role? And some other leaders of the party, and even the state that played a role in his emergence as governor. What did he do to them? And so the whole state was born. And who was it? You see, this is the problem again when you don't allow the will of the people to prevail. Oh, I chose this one. And this governor was frustrating for me before he became a governor. So that is the problem when you have a fraudulent electoral system. Because it's about powerful individuals, not the will of the people.
What?
So those powerful individuals don't even reckon with the people. They don't care. It's about them and them alone.
What?
And so when you see people who come, you see, when I get emotional about people promoting this nonsense in our democracy, we keep promoting powerful people. Yes, on wiki, yes, on wiki, yes, on wiki. In our conversation in River State now, where is the people in our conversation? It's just about one person. Wiki, every day. Did they sell the state to him?
Since we're talking, right, about the People's Democratic Party and what's going on there, the People's Democratic Party is actually alleging that 4 members of the Edo State House of Assembly received 200 million naira each as inducements to defect to the All Progressives Congress. El-Rufai had mentioned, right, that moles are being planted in parties, individuals are being paid allegedly to cause ruckus within opposition parties and what have you. Now the PDP is saying that the defection they're seeing of some of their members to the APC, chances are they were paid by the APC to actually defect. Mind you, this is an allegation. What are your thoughts about this allegation of deliberately causing problems within parties, inducing individuals to defect to probably weaken them from the forthcoming election? These are
some of these things. The Edo State is a very clear one. Out of 24 House of Assembly members, I think the APC now has about 13. Because you have all the Assembly members who are PDP who have started to defect, or just defected from the PDP to the APC. And that will just show to you that these guys have no ideology, there's no party loyalty of any kind. It's just about political survival for them. It's not like the Labour Party. You know, a lot of the Labour Party guys who are in National Assembly have also all defected to the APC.
Right.
Why? So in those states, what you have again, you know, the governor owns the ace. He's the one that owns the most potent card now when it comes to finance, resources, and view. So these guys are looking for...
Oh, Fuad. Hello? Okay. Again, we're going to have to reconnect. I'm really sorry about that. Just give us a chance. We have some 7 minutes before we round off conversation here, and I still want us to take at least one more story from the Vanguard before we wrap things up here. Thank you to everyone. I see your messages already, and I appreciate it. We'll pick 2 people from Trends in the Papers and then 2 people from Mainland Focus for the airtime. Like I said, it's just to appreciate you for your resilience, for staying with us despite the disruption on our social media platforms. Fuad, do we have you back?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, please finish your thought.
So for Edo State, it's just what it is. These guys have to find a way to survive politically, and everybody has to align. So of course, we're going to have more defection. At the end of the day, you might just have maybe 2 or 3 members in that assembly remaining in the PDP. And what the PDP is alleging, that look, they are being induced, that each of them is getting about 200 million each, defect from the PDP to the APC. I don't know, it's just an allegation, but I think the fact is that look, these guys understand that look, for them to remain politically relevant, now that the APC is in charge of the state, they also have to find a way to align. Although in a proper democratic setting, you don't have to have a situation where everybody aligns into one party. But the way we play our politics here, the structure of our politics, the thinking of our politicians when it comes to holding on to power, everybody has to align. It's about central command. And so what you will find in Edo State is that, look, they'll continue to weaken the PDP to the point where it becomes completely impotent as an opposition political party in the state. And that's what you're also seeing across the different states in the country. We're almost getting to a one-party state situation, which is very unfortunate for our democracy.
All right. Well, let me read the rest of the headline from Punch. Natasha, IPU cannot summon Akpabio, says spokesman. As you know, she did go raise the issue at the IPU, Interparliamentary Union of the United Nations. And I did ask yesterday, is there really anything they can do about it? And you made it clear that they cannot interfere in issues like that. It's up to Akpabio if he wants to answer them. And I don't really believe that he's enthusiastic about responding to whatever someone they might have put forward. It's on page 14. page 15 says, Ondo killing, survivors recount ordeal. Aiyedatiwa pledges tight security. It's on page 15 of the Punch newspaper. That's about it, actually. So for The Guardian, very briefly, there's something here about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has suffered enough. Release him, Okori begs Tinubu. An elder statesman, Chief Chekwas Okori, said on Wednesday that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra has suffered grievously, restating his appeal to President Bola Tinubu to facilitate his release and the release of other prisoners of conscience in the country from further incarceration. Fuad, at this point, what moves exactly, or who specifically do you think can intercede on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu such that he gets a pardon, maybe on condition, but he's released, so there's a political solution to his incarceration and all the issues that surround it?
Well, honestly, I'm surprised that we're still on this Nnamdi Kanu matter and there's not been a political solution to that issue. I thought that even with the emergence of President Bola Ahmed, something would have been done. Leaders of the Southeast, again, with former President Muhammadu Buhari, a lot of the elders of the Southeast are approaching, seeking for his unconditional release, which never happened. You understand what I'm saying? But I have thought that, look, President Bola Ahmed will be a bit more liberal about this issue, and that, look, if leaders of the Southeast had approached him with the same request of the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, it would have happened. But I don't know why, because again, the legal logjam will continue till eternity, the way it's been handled. Again, you keep having judges recusing themselves or not recusing themselves. The entire case has become even difficult to understand. The positions of the Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers, that of the prosecution. Even as a journalist, it's extremely difficult for me to even explain how far they've gone on this case, because it's a lot of back and forth. Really.
Oh, he got a new judge. He got a new judge, by the way. He already.
Yeah, that's a new judge. Yeah. It just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging. And I think, like Chief Chekwas Okori has said, the easiest way out is to seek a political solution, and it's just about the federal government dropping those charges against him. And I'm surprised that leaders of the Southeast have not tried to intercede, have not, made strong efforts. Efforts that are strong enough that could make the president look at this option of just, finding a way to release him. Maybe on conditions that look, stop all these agitations. If you must agitate, let it be civil, let it be violent-free. And then maybe get some leaders to also commit to a non-violent agitation if they must continue to agitate. You understand what I'm saying? So yes. I think that at some point we might see a political solution to this issue, where Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Because if we're going to be going through the legal route, it probably could take another 5 years.
Well, that's that on that particular story. Finally, before we leave the studio, Fuad, Vanguard newspaper tells us that the court declines to legalize prostitution, dismisses Abuja sex workers' suit, insists no law shields prostitutes from arrest, says their work is immoral. Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja yesterday declined to legalize prostitution in the country, even as it dismissed the suits that sought to enforce fundamental right of commercial sex workers in the Federal Capital Territory. So there was a case that was taken to court by a representative of Abuja-based prostitutes who are asking that the court stops the FCT minister, for one, from arresting and prosecuting prostitutes because they have fundamental human rights, and the arrest and the prosecution of these prostitutes is in variance with the Constitution, who allows for them to do whatever they're doing and be protected by the law. But the court has dismissed this, says it's immoral and it is alien to our cultural values in Nigeria. Fuad.
Well, again, this is a court decision coming on the basis of morality.
Yeah.
Abi?
Yes.
There was really nothing constitutional about that judgment. that judgment was just based on morality. That, look, this is alien to our culture and tradition, and it's immoral. So I don't know whether laws can be interpreted on moral grounds completely, because these workers, sex workers, are taking this case to court based on their rights. Fundamental human rights, what they are looking at. But the judge has decided on the fact that you are right, to commercial sex work violates a lot of morality of our culture and tradition, is alien to our people, and so on. That it remains illegal, and you can be arrested if you come out to parade yourself as a commercial sex worker. But what just comes to mind is that, look, while the court is saying it's illegal to function as a commercial sex worker, it's not a job. We have a government, for example, the MBS, it is a basing index. I said that part of our calculation for GDP will look at commercial sex workers.
Yeah.
So if it's illegal, why are we taking note of commercial sex work as the basis for calculating our GDP?
Fuad, we actually have to go. That's all we can take for trends in the papers. We'll be back at 8:40 for Mainland Focus. Is open mic Thursday, so you get to be the one to choose what story you'd like to analyze. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. It is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.